Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative2xmom, and if you're new to this channel, I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kiddos ages 6, 10, and 12, and this channel is all about homeschooling and parenting, a little bit of recipe videos thrown in, and of course lots and lots of books. And that's what this video is going to be about today. This is called the Book of the Month, and it's a collaboration with other YouTubers. So if you click on the description box below, you'll be able to find the playlist. And I hope that you will go check out their videos after you watch this one. So during the month of January, I actually only read 3 books this year, which is kind of unusual for me, but they were all nonfiction. They were in the realm of learning to grow, and so they were books that I really wanted to spend some time concentrating on. In a fiction book, I can generally tear through it pretty quickly, but these were all books that were meant to be life-changing and meant to instill new habits. So I tend to take those kind of books a little bit slower. The first one was a book called Resync Your Life, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. I will link my full review down below for you. But this book is about New Year's resolutions in a lot of ways, and I felt like January was a great time of the month to read this book. And it's his workout program, his nutritional program, but he also brings in the element of spirituality, which I think is so missing in most New Year's resolutions and rechanging your life and the way you think, because fitness and nutrition is important, but if you don't start to change the way you think about your life, and if you don't start to change the way you think about your body, those changes are not very lasting. And so I thought that that was kind of unique to this book and something that you don't see very often in the fitness industry. So of course this was written from a Christian perspective, and I really appreciated the fact that he brought that in to the way he thinks and the way he trains people as well. If you are a beginner, I feel like if you're a beginner in working out and eating healthy, this is a great book for you. If this is a journey that you've been on for a while and you've got a pretty rigorous workout program going, you're dialing in your nutrition, the workouts in this will not be very challenging, but I think purely for the aspect of changing the way you think and bringing in just changing your life, not just changing your behavior, but changing your life. I felt like that this was a good example of that, and for that I felt like it was a good book to pick up. And even if you are kind of a person that has been working out for a while, his workouts are very adaptable, that you can do them as you travel. So that was kind of a benefit. I didn't feel like they were super challenging, but for somebody who's just starting, this was a really good book. The second book I read this month was called In Step with the Spirit, and it's by Sarah Bowling. I guess she has a big following. She has a podcast. I had never actually heard of her before. She's an international speaker and author. She hosts a television program. I'd never heard of this woman before. This was a new author to me. And I have to confess, I've actually had this book since November. I picked it up once and couldn't get through it. I only got halfway through it, and I kind of blamed it on holidays, and I thought, oh, I didn't really give that a fair shot. So instead of writing my review right away, I waited until January. Picked it up again. I got to the same point in the book and didn't finish it. I felt like she just repeated the same stories, repeated the same principles, and was just repeating herself throughout this book. And it talks about, it's a very practical guide to, can you see the Holy Spirit's unique and supernatural expression in your life? This was not practical for me at all. It was just a rehashing of the same principles and the same stories, chapter after chapter. I could not get through this. I will leave my full review link down below for this one as well, but not something I would recommend at all. The last book I read in January should come as no surprise to anyone who's watched my channel for very long or been a part of my blogging journey. This is a book that I think I pick up every January, every year, because I need the reminder. It's Love and Respect in the Family by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. And this is the same author for the Love and Respect series and helping couples communicate and build stronger marriages. He's taken those same principles and applied them in a family setting. I got this as a review probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I've read it over and over and over again. This is probably the most read parenting book in our house, and it's definitely in my top 5, if not the top parenting book of all time that I recommend to every parent out there. So much of what he talks about is about us not being childish in our parenting and learning to decipher what is going on with our kids, learning to understand them better so that we can parent them better. It's all about what he calls the family crazy cycle. If kids feel unloved, then they act disrespectfully. If parents feel disrespected, then they act unlovingly. And learning to decipher the behaviors that are happening and how you can go from there to stop that crazy cycle. I felt like one of the best messages in this book came near the end of the book, and it's in a chapter, I believe the chapter was called As Unto the Lord, and he talks about parenting as if it were unto the Lord. So if the Lord were standing in our home, standing behind the shoulder of our children, how would we parent them? How would we speak to them? What would consequences look like? What would our behavior look like? And that for me was probably the most practical advice, at least through this reading. Like I said, I get something out of this book every time I read it. This time that I read it, that was the chapter that hit home for me the most. So definitely avoid, spend money on. So those are the 3 books I read in the month of January. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're reading. And of course, click on the description box down below and check out all the collaborators for this event. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.